So it says fairy godmothers have mythological roots in what?
In the Greek, Moira, Parquet, and Norns, who determined the fate of humans through spinning. For example, in Sleeping Beauty, the fairy godmothers decree her fate and are associated with spinning. The fairy godmother is also an archetype of a magical fairy type being who helps others, sometimes appearing in another's darkest hour to grant their fondest wish.
Hmm.
She may also help good people succeed and goodness prevail through less direct methods, often with the aid of her magic wand. In folklore, a fairy godmother is a benevolent, typically female fairy who intervenes in human life. She is also defined as a generous friend or benefactor.
This is just funny how they try to make it sound so good.
The
Okay.
fairy godmother has her roots in the figures of the fates. This is especially clear in Sleeping Beauty, where they decree her fate and are associated with spinning. Okay.
Isn't there a demon called Fate?
What else was in Cinderella, guys? You guys have the pumpkin turn it into where do you normally see pumpkins at? Halloween, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
So let's look at the pumpkin. What does that mean?
Cinderella ran into the garden and picked a big orange pumpkin. The fairy godmother touched the pumpkin with her magic wand and it turned into a golden carriage. She's come here, little mice, she said to the mice in the wall. She waved her wand again, and the mice turned into 6 beautiful horses to pull the carriage. And it says, what does the pumpkin symbolize in Cinderella? The pumpkin represents the transition of Cinderella. Hmm.
Yeah, the transition wasn't didn't it turn into something that would transport her? Wasn't it transportation?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, look at all the other testimonies. Well, didn't they have to be transported, in the mouth of a crocodile or in the mouth of a fish? Except this one was inside of a pumpkin. And then the spell broke at midnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why midnight?
Because to me, I think that means, okay, a lot of times in the Bible, midnight is significant to God. And I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's a scripture about about Samson that talks about midnight. See if you can find it.
There was something that I saw on, and I can't remember where I got it from, but it was like that's the in between.
What, 10 o'clock?
The in
Midnight
between.
is it's like the in between night and morning.
It is. It's a gate.
Yes.
Midnight is a gate. So it was the transition of her because she was for the first time trying to be, how do I put it, initiated into magic, into the magical realm.
Hmm.
But
But that's
the pumpkin does represent something though. That's the reason why a lot of the times they use it for doing Halloween. There's more to that.
let me see if I can find it. Should I do pumpkin origin or pumpkin representation?
Yeah, you can just do pumpkin meaning. Put pumpkin meaning for Halloween and see what comes up.
Oh, pumpkin meaning spiritual. They have that too. Pumpkin meaning Halloween. Pumpkins are a symbol of Halloween because of an Irish tradition of carving faces into pumpkins to represent souls trapped between worlds.
Mm.
Oh my gosh.
So where was Cinderella being transitioned to? Transported to?
What she to a new world. The castle, the prince, the king.
So was it really Cinderella that married the prince, or was her soul trapped somewhere?
Mm.
Oh my.
You know, when people sell their soul, you know their soul is actually trapped in hell while their body is still down here. So when you see that musician or that politician, whatever, like you see their body walking around, but their soul is trapped.
And they have the glitz and the glam, just like Cinderella. She had new threads, she had new shoes.
So what she sell her soul for? Her
A
husband.
dress.
A man.
Oh. Mm.
A man because the quote unquote evil stepmother and stepsisters were trying to keep her away from see now I'm thinking, so were they really evil, or if they could have been evil and the evil stepmother wanted her evil stepsisters to go into that world and was trying to not make Cinderella do. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where the evil family came, like how they tie in, because they were
No, they
trying.
were evil because they were selfish.
Well, that's
They were
what pushed
evil.
Cinderella into doing that in the first place.
Now that makes me think a whole new level because it's like, what really happened to Cinderella's dad after he got with the stepmom? See,
Mm-hmm.
like she sacrificed him.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always more to the story because the enemy doesn't give you anything for free.
So are all these movies Disney movies?
Yeah.
Hmm. Seems like there's a theme here, don't you think?
And don't get me started with Frozen. That's a whole other one right there.
And then, okay, it says the tradition. Okay, so the tradition may have originated from an old Irish legend about Stingy Jack, who tricked the devil and was not allowed into heaven or hell. The devil sent Jack off with a burning coal, which he put in his carved out turnip. Jack's restless soul has been roaming the earth ever since.
Mhm. Cool,
Wow.
huh? What does that sound like?
The Headless Horseman.
So remember, have you heard of somebody getting coal if they're bad,
Mm-hmm.
like for Christmas instead of gifts?
Yes. Coal in the stockings.
And look at this. The tradition may have also originated from a Celtic tradition of carving faces into turnips and setting candles inside to chase away evil spirits. In the 19th century, Irish immigrants brought the Halloween tradition of using vegetables to scare spirits away to America. They discovered that pumpkins are abundant in the New World and are ideal for carving. It was also probably easier to carve a face on a pumpkin than on a turnip.
Lorraine, what do you have to say? Sorry, that was my mistake. You sound really far away.
In Ireland, people started to carve demonic faces out of turnips to frighten away Jack's wandering soul. When Irish immigrants moved to the US, they began carving jack-o'-lanterns from pumpkins, as these were native to the region. Let me look up that glass slipper. Oh, wait, hold on. Oops. Tabs. Okay, the glass slipper. The glass slipper represents true identity because it is the media for Cinderella to reveal her identity as the one the prince is looking for. While it can be symbolized as gentleness because the glass is breakable and fragile, but Cinderella wore the glass slipper without any trouble.
So was Disney a practicing warlock or something, or was he in the?
Yeah, he was a 33-degree Mason, Freemason. He was a 33rd degree. They have I did this deep dive into Disney, and they have in Disney World, Disneyland, they have a thing called Club 33.
Yeah.
And not everybody's allowed in it. And there's like secret, like when you go to Disney World and you see like rides and everything going on and around you, there are secret passageways, there are secret doors, there are some of those things that look like castles where the public are not allowed into. Those are real places in there that people like go into. And I don't know what they're doing in there, but you can look it up on YouTube, like Club 33 Disney.
I think there's a significance with the mouse too, because remember the mouse is also a Cinderella story, besides the pumpkin. And then
Mice?
if yeah, remember the mice.
Yeah, but I was gonna say mice represent spiritually. Doesn't that represent poverty?
I think so. I'm not sure. Let's look into that and see what it represents.
Because the fairy godmother turned the mice into horses, into white horses.
Well, she was using white magic, but the white horse also means something else too, right? Don't they have the pale horse and all those?
Yes. Okay. Hold on. Mice representation.
She was initiating her into white magic.
Look, in Native American folklore, mice are often regarded as spirit guides that provide guidance and wisdom to those in need. In European folklore, mice have been featured in various myths and fables, often depicted as clever and cunning creatures.
That makes sense because I've heard that like dreaming of rats or roaches is like a spiritual infestation. So she had an infestation, a spiritual one, and they were influencing her.
So the three mice were her spirit guides, right? I mean, because that weren't they. So basically, those were the three spirits that were. Because typically, those spirit guides are the same ones that keep you trapped and keep you from being able to get out when you do try to get out. They end up being your strong men, or
And look at this. What deity is associated with mice? Apollo was worshipped as the mouse god, lowercase g, in ancient Troy and in the Ionian Greek islands. He both caused the invasion of mice to transmit the plague place and destroyed all the mice when appeased. Aramanius was a minor Greek deity who was reckoned as the god of rats and darkness.
so this story is starting to sound completely different. So she has three spirit guides. with a pumpkin, which represents being trapped in what? In a different realm?
Yeah, trapped between worlds.
Trapped between worlds. She gets inside of a pumpkin. I guarantee you she never got back out of it. Not her soul. And what drove her to that, guys? See how the
Rejection.
enemy uses trauma? See how he uses trauma to draw you right into his trap?
Yes, and rejection. Whoever said rejection, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Trauma and rejection to lure
Yeah,
you
so
right into the trap. And you think he's helping you. Didn't she think the fairy godmother was helping her?
Yep.
mm,
And the trauma comes from her father dying.
Mm-hmm. So it's so funny because it reminds me almost of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how what the song says?
It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Come inside and stay inside. And my daughter used to watch that when she was little.
Come
what is
inside and stay inside. You trapped.
oh,
You ain't getting back out.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. It's fun inside. Oh my
Come
gosh.
inside. It's fun inside.
I can't even let me look. I can't. This is exactly why when I pray in the morning, I pray for my children too, because I stupidly initiated them as children, not knowing what I was doing.
Well, I used to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I didn't think about none of this when my son was little.
yeah, and all the I got VHSs with Disney because I thought they might be collector item one day.
Yeah, and that's not to include the pornographic images that they have hidden in the pictures.
Mm.
They have a lot of
So
pornographic things hidden
in the
in the cartoon drawings, where you think your kid is just watching certain things, but is putting certain things into their subconscious.
like when Bugs Bunny turned into the woman, he was
No, I'm not talking about just that. Like the regular images, where you think you're just watching Lion King or something. The actual cartoon drawings, there's other hidden pictures in that picture that you can't see if you were just looking
Yeah,
at it.
like the word sex pop off in the Lion King.
in the what?
The
In the
Lion King,
Lion King,
one of my favorite movies.
when Simba drops his head and you see the little dust that flows off his head, and Rafiki catches it, the dust spells out sex.
Shut up.
Yeah, and in the Little Mermaid, her castle. There's and in the movie, so in their castle on the cover of they had to edit it, but the original one for the picture of her and Eric and all of them in front of the under Triton's castle, it was a phallus. Like you could see a male genital in the middle of the castle. I don't want to pull it up, but I mean I can. Well, not the well, when I say I can, I don't mean like the actual
Yeah, just
thing.
don't pull it up. Yeah, sure.
And then the in the movie when Ursula the sea witch was getting married to Eric and Ariel was there and couldn't speak, he had a I don't know how to say that politically correct. He was
Really?
he was stimulated. Yes, in the
Oh,
movie. And you could see it through his clothes in the cartoon.
Shut up.
Yes.
Wow.
They did like an expose of like all of the dark things that are in these cartoons that we never like. It's all over YouTube. I did this deep
yeah. There's
dive.
YouTube videos with that, with a whole
Mhm.
bunch of it. Let's see it. Yeah, and wasn't there a press conference or a meeting or something? Somebody that used to work at Disney recorded or something.
Oh, I don't know. I would love to hear that.
Yeah, they recorded it and they talked about the agenda and everything. for children. I think what's his name did a video on it too. Isaiah Saldivar a while ago, where they talk about their plan to basically, initiate children into certain things, and then also the plan to get, and then that's when they started putting a lot of the certain agendas, rainbow agendas in the movies, in the children's movies.
Mm.
They had to make sure they had certain type of characters.
I hate how that I'm about to read this thing about the white horses, but I hate how the enemy has perverted the rainbow, because I'm reading my Bible over and over. Like, I know someone was telling me like there's a way, like there's different ways to read the Bible to follow the stories. I'm just reading it from cover to end, like cover to cover. And I'm back in Genesis. That's why I brought up the story of the Tower of Babel, because the other night, the Lord has been waking me up early in the morning. I told you guys that. So I've been praying, and then I'll have my audio Bible playing to make sure that my atmosphere, like nothing can come in into my house. But when God flooded the earth the first time, it talked about his covenant with Noah. And it says it in the Bible that it was a bow in the clouds so that God his promise to Noah would be that he would never flood the earth again with rain. So they took the rainbow, because it was God's bow. And then when I was reading it, it was like 2 a.m. As I was listening to it, it reminded me of when Patience said she went to heaven, and there was all of these colors that we couldn't, like, we can't even see all the colors down here. And there's so many different colors in heaven. So when you think about the rainbow and the colors of the rainbow, and that's God's bow in the clouds and his covenant with Noah, and then the enemy has taken that and perverted it.
Mm-hmm. That's sad. Because every time it rains and the sun is out, you can see the rainbow. It's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
To
It's
say,
it's
oh,
actually it's actually mesmer. It's like anytime I see one and I'm driving, I have to like try to keep my eyes on the road.
right. Because it reminds you of the promise.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I think. I always think of the promise.
And I also think of where is it? Because it's in the clouds. Like, you think about it, like, where does that begin and where does that end? Like, where's the beginning of this rainbow? Where's the end of it? Is it just going across the whole earth, and then or the area, I guess? And it also makes me think too of the firmament or the sky, where Patience was saying it's a solid, and how that the heavens will be pulled back or rolled up.
It's
So
solid.
you weren't here last class when we were talking about that.
But my friend swears, well, not swears, but she's she was raised in church, but now she's got a relationship with Christ and all that stuff, but much better. You know what I'm saying? She's really excited and stuff. So she's getting ready to get a Cambridge Bible, and she sent me something saying that the firmament is water. Right, we're surrounded by water, and I was like,
I believe, well, I don't know if it's water. I know we are surrounded by water, but I think the firmament is a solid that separates the waters.
as it says in Genesis, let the waters uh separate. That Genesis. I always wanted to take my kids to Disneyland.
Yeah, so we're talking about electromagnetic forces. We're talking about the fact that the air that we see is not just air; it's solid. And that's why there's so many references in the text that refers to it as a solid. We went through the scriptures and everything. I don't have time to go through all of them right now, but there's the one that says that, about the sky or the being what did it say that he stretched it out? He stretched out the universe, and then it talked about being able to for everything to be able to roll up like a scroll. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't stretch air, and air can't roll up like a scroll. And then also you talk about the veil being ripped. You can't rip air.
Mm.
And yeah, I just pulled up firmament, and God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters." So the firmament is not water; it's in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. That's Genesis 1:6, and then Genesis 1:7 is, "And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven." And the evening and the morning were the second day.
And that clarifies the text too that we just read about not making any image of anything in the waters beneath the earth.
Mm.
There's
Mhm.
waters on the earth and there's water beneath the earth. There's a
Mhm.
firmament in between that
Mhm.
separates them.
Mhm.
So we are
Um,
surrounded by water.
that made me think of Revelations when John was describing the floor, how it looked like water. It was like a sapphire stone. It looked like water. And when it flooded, God said the windows of heaven opened. So maybe, like I'm saying, like maybe like the site, the wherever the waters from heaven flowed from came from, like wherever the sapphire stone is, because he compared it to water, like the characteristic of it. I'm not sure
Mm.
if that has something to do with it, but it made me think about it.
It's Ezekiel. I think, well, maybe you're talking about Ezekiel. And then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them as it were a sapphire stone. Is that what you're talking about? No, maybe not.
No, I only said in Revelations it didn't say sapphire stone. I've heard patients say that before, and that's what it seemed like she was describing. But he described it as the floor looks like water.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're talking about around the throne.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
Bible refers to it and says that it looks like a glass sea. And that's what it looks like. It literally looks like a sea of glass, a sea that's going all the way from the God's throne all the way to around the throne. And that sea of glass is the same floor that what we refer to as a sapphire stone, but certain parts of it, there's so much glory there that it's like fire coming from the floor.
Mm,
But it does look like a sea of glass. Basically, it looks like glass water. How do I put it? Yeah, something like that.
okay. I was thinking maybe it had something to do with like the firm part of the air you were talking about.
Yeah. So, but there's also the firmament of water. You have the water that's on the earth that we know as the sea, and
Hmm.
then you have the firmament in between it, and then you have more water under the earth.
Hmm.
Um, which is the reason why when we were talking about Tyrus, there's an entrance to get into that second part of the water. You see what I'm saying? There's an
Yeah.
entrance. Tyrus sits at the entrance into the sea because technically, if you were like, well, if it's just a regular ocean, you don't need an entrance to that. I could just walk on the beach and be in the ocean, right? But if you're
Right.
talking about going through another firmament to get into the other um city, like city, world, or whatever world that's under the sea, that's going to be
'Cause-
underneath the earth, which is typically why you need to get into the entrance. You need some type of creature or something to take you in.
Mhm.
Y'all remember the supernatural fish? Who remembers the fish with the money in his mouth?
Oh, in the Bible?
Y'all remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah. When there was
Y'all
the
think that was a regular fish?
mm, well, Jesus can do miracles. Just pull the fish and wanted the coin out
Hmm?
to pay the taxes. So if he, well, he didn't speak. He just reached in the water, I think, and just grabbed the fish.
Hmm. And then the fish just had money in his mouth. Just happens to have money in his mouth. Where do you think that money came from?
Uh,
Pirates.
God's glory.
I think it came from the abundance of the sea. It says the abundance
Oh,
of the sea shall
okay.
be turned unto us, right?
No.
Why are pirates always trying to go to the sea looking for treasure?
Ah, that's true.
Mm.
That is true.
So does any of this correlate with the body of water that they found recently in April that's like larger than all of the bodies of water that we know already?
Wait, what happened?
When was this found?
Yeah, what?
So yeah, so there's like a body of water that they found like inside of the earth that they claim is like they've had to go through some kind of rock called woodrite or something like that. And it's like the body of water is larger than all the known bodies of water on the earth that we already know.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Maybe they
Woodright?
found the entrance. Maybe they found the entrance that Tyrus sits on.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
that's what it sounds
Woodright, two
like.
words? I'm trying to Google it. Where?
The entrance,
What?
the
So
entrance
it
into
was
the sea.
found in Northwestern University. Well, it says researchers from the Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, discovered a giant ocean of water 700 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface in a rock called
Mm.
ringwoodite. So ring like ring finger woodite, like Woodite.
Was it close to the Bermuda Triangle?
I don't know. I'm trying to see where they even found it at.
I found, April 25th, 2024. Earth has a vast interior ocean 400 miles under our feet. Woo! That creates ringwoodite gems. Huh.
Yep, there's a whole world down there.
The discovery was made by geophysicist Steve Jacobson from the Northwestern University and seismologist Brandon Schmant from the University of New Mexico. May represent the planet's largest water reservoir. So larger than the ocean, the whole ocean is all over the earth. So how is it larger than the ocean?
Well, God divided the firmament from under the earth well, he put a firmament in between the ocean underneath the earth and the ocean on the earth. And it's interesting that it's it's they found it, the entrance into it like through a rock. It's kind of interesting.
Mm.
Earth's mantle has remarkable secrets. I don't know why they be acting like they don't already know this stuff.
What is all this Google ads? Wow, this is liquid, ice, vapor, and a fourth form of water. The water discovered in the mantle is not in a form familiar to us. It is not liquid, ice, or vapor. Instead,
Mm.
it is trapped inside the molecular structure of the minerals in the mantle rock. The immense pressure created by 250 miles of solid rock, along with temperatures above 2000 and rates.
Wow, it sounds like the sapphire stone, the glass sea.
Yep.
Oh,
Causes water molecules to split and form hydroxyl radicals that can be bound into a mineral's crystal structure.
Wow. That's
And
what's
it's a,
around the throne. It looks like water, but it's glass, and it's also stone, yeah, that has flames coming out of it. And there's so many forms up there that we're not familiar with down here. Remember, only 1/6, guys. Only 1/6 of what really exists we're able to experience down here. So what did they call in this other fourth form of water?
let me go back. Wait, whoops. Let me go forward. Okay, wait. Um, um, inside the molecular structure of minerals, the immense pressure, let's see. Instead, it is trapped inside a molecular structure inside of the minerals and the mantle rock. The immense pressure created by some Fahrenheit causes water molecules to split and form hydroxyl radicals, which is OH. I don't remember OH being on the periodic table. Where's Lorraine?
It's
Oh,
probably classified. It's probably
so
classified. Is those elements that be missing when they pull up the element chart?
oh no, it's not. The hydroxyl group is the oxygen and hydrogen paired together. So it's you find it in alcohols like ethanol, methanol. Those all have hydroxy groups, which are OH groups, and they're really good in binding because that hydrogen it's being pulled off by a more electronegative element, and so it's easy to bind to other things because that hydrogen is like a free radical where it can make a connection, say between water when you have two hydrogens and oxygen together, because that bond energy for the well, I don't want to get too deep, but that hydrogen is easily pulled off because it has one valence electron in its shell, and it's easy to share that electron with other molecules, other atoms. But when she said that in the crystal lattice, it has the hydroxy group, that tells me that it is a solid because we test actual solid material that has to have a crystalline structure, meaning that it has to have a crystal-like solid structure where you can see the actual atoms, how they're paired together. We call it X-ray crystallography. So we can look at the construction of the molecule, how those molecules come together to form a shape. So when you can say that you can look at the lattice and see these hydroxyl groups, tells me that you're dealing with a solid material because you're able to view it through X-ray, how they're connected together. So it is a solid, another form of water in a solid form.
Mm.
Yes.
Can I just say that I
Except
love
so water, basically water in another solid form, but it's not ice. It's more like a stone.
I don't know if it's a stone, but I know in order for them to see the X-ray crystallography of it, to see how it's linked together in its lattice structure, it has to be a solid. It has to be crystalline, meaning that it has to be
It's
like a
like a
table
clear
salt.
stone.
Yeah,
It's
like
like a
table
clear stone,
salt.
almost like sugar crystals or
Yes,
glass.
or salt. Yeah, that crystalline structure, that solid material. So things that are amorphous are things that are not crystalline in nature. So an example of that will be flour. It's not crystalline, but it's solid. But in order
Ah,
to look at it, yeah, to look at the three-dimensional structure of that molecule, it has to be a solid material where you can look and see how those atoms are paired together. And we use X-ray crystallography to do that, like X-ray diffraction.
mhm.
That technology allows us to see that 3D model of that structure. So if, for instance, if you have a hydrate, meaning a crystal
that can encompass or store water in its compartment. So essentially, it's like a encasement, and in that encasement, you can have another element in that encasement. And so, just like, have you guys heard of the hydrogen fuel cells? If you look at how those electric cars that I think Toyota makes, how they use metal organic frameworks, and then they just encapsulate hydrogen molecules into that battery life, and one of the byproducts of that is water. So if you'll see, I forgot what it's called, the name of that technology for that they have. Have you guys heard of that car, those cars, those electric cars that the byproduct is water? It's Marina.
Yeah,
Marina.
I heard of the. Wasn't that the technology that
That man was killed over.
this guy, yeah, he had figured out how to run a car on water and then he disappeared.
Hmm.
Um, Possibly, but it was one of my projects in graduate school where I was working to encapsulate that hydrogen molecule into a crystal structure called metal organic framework. It's called MOS. So essentially, once you encapsulate it, you can now use it as a battery. But I was in the beginning stage of that research, and then I switched over to organic chemistry. But um, yeah. So if it's a crystal and they can see the hydroxide groups in it, then you're dealing with a crystalline solid, a crystalline molecule like salt, sugar, um, even if you look at even diamonds, that's a crystal. When you put that in the X-ray diffractometer, you'll see how those molecules are joined together to form that solid network.
I love that you're a chemist. I just want to say that.
Right. That was so thorough. Wow.
It's just it's ironic that this is the stuff that's real life, and I'm like thinking it's out of a chemistry book, and it's just like, okay, but it's
Exactly.
real life.
It's so funny that they're just finding this when this is literally in the Bible.
Or are they just
Wow.
telling us that they're finding it? Like you were saying, they're acting like this
Hmm.
is brand new when I believe that, of course, where they're getting a lot of the stuff that they bring to us now, they've been new about it through whoever they're serving.
And they read the Bible too, by the way. The devil knows the Bible better than most of us.
Hmm.
But so could this be the form that the substance around the throne is then? That they found? Because when you look at it, like if you're up close to it, it looks like water, but it's transparent. Which is kind of that's what kind of makes it weird because it's like it's transparent, but not like transparent like water. It's kind of hard to explain. But yet, if you like back up off of it, then it's like it's still shiny like glass, but it's not like wavy like water. Does that make sense? Like it's flat, like if you were looking at the surface of ice, but it's not like solid and white like ice. It's still clear like water, but almost like water with shimmering diamonds in it, almost. But the surface is flat and smooth. It's not like water with waves. So it is like a solid form, but that's why I think that's why so many people it's hard for them to describe it. And when you read it in the text, it says it's like a sea of glass in the scripture. But it doesn't look like if you're looking at the ocean, because if you're looking at just regular water, there's waves in it, right?
Hmm.
That's not how that looks in heaven. It looks flat, just like an ice surface would look, but it's not white like you know how ice gets. It's still clear like water, but almost like water with little diamond sparkles in it. That's transparent. I don't know if that makes sense.
And are they trying to melt it? Or are they saying that it's melting? The melting detected by the researchers is called dehydration melting.
Mm-hmm.
When ringwoodite in the transition zone moves deeper into the lower mantle, it forms a higher pressure mineral called silicate. I can't say that. Perovskite.
That's kind of crazy though.
which cannot absorb water. This causes the rock at the boundary between the transition zone and lower mantle to partially melt. When the rock with when a rock with a lot of H2O moves from the transition zone to the lower mantle, it needs to get rid of the H2O somehow. So it melts a little bit. Schmant said this is called the dehydration melting.
Hmm.
And they say it was accidentally discovered. Yeah, right.
Okay, so somebody just happened to be taking a stroll through the ocean
Right. And they
and
have
went
all
and
this
went through
science
this
on it.
rock and found this whole other body of water.
They was looking for that.
They know the molecular structure of it and everything.
Right, since April. Like, there's no way.
April 25th.
Hmm. You know, there's a reason why this thing is being released to the public now, right?
No. Well, I
Okay,
know there's a reason, but what's the reason?
think about it. If these creatures, who we think are aliens, show up and says, "Hey, by the way, we're the creators of mankind," and by the way, you don't know there's a whole another world with creatures just like us
Mm.
in the ringwood, and even though they look just like us, oh, there's nothing wrong with marrying them. After all, we're the creators of mankind. Let's all coexist. Y'all come into our world, we'll come into yours. They can't do that if we don't know this world exists. I mean,
Yeah, walking.
why would the enemy expose the entrance to this other world? Think about it.
Mhm.
To the public, when it's something that you have to be initiated, typically to go into. And why now when they're trying to make the Bible illegal?
And yeah, and like Lorraine said, it's March 12th. Oh, so see, look at this. Scientific America from March 12th, 2014, the diamond contains ringwoodite, which is water rich but only forms naturally under extreme pressure. That was in 2014. Oh, Smithsonian. Let's see what they lying about. Oh, this was in 2022. Is there an ocean below your feet? Hmm.
No. Bible says there's water under the earth. So is that different water that people typically tap into when we dig wells?
From the water, from,
When you
well,
dig a
how far?
well, where is that is it just regular water level that's from the sea, or what water are we tapping into when we dig a well? What y'all? I'm not sure what y'all think.
Um, I think that's a good question.
It's underground.
I'm just trying to figure out why people are acting brand new, like they don't know water's under the earth. Like, ooh, this is a discovery. We found water under the earth, but we've been digging wells forever.
They're hoping that the people don't catch on.
I saw this movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Discovery inside a diamond in the rough shows Jules Verne wasn't that far off when he wrote about a hidden ocean in Journey to the Center of the Earth. I actually love that movie.
Where is it available at? Is it on like Netflix or
I'm gonna
Amazon?
I'm gonna see right now. Copy. Let me open another tab. I have 15 million tabs open. Let me close out this pumpkin. I always do multiple tabs because I like to go back to read 2008. Okay, so where to watch? It's on HBO Max, Hulu, Hulu premium subscription, YouTube primetime subscription, Amazon premium subscription, and then YouTube's no, YouTube TV. I have HBO Max though, so I could watch it on there. But I love the movie.
Look like there's a 1 and a 2.
There is.
Okay. Is it on where is it at? Was it on Netflix? YouTube? I see Hulu.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max or Max. They call it Max now, and Hulu. If you have Amazon Prime Video, you should be able to watch it on there.
I don't think I have Prime. It's not on Netflix.
No, it used to be, but they might have pulled it. I could give you my Max login.
Well, not while we're recording. You can put it in the chat.
Oh, whoops. Yeah.
You'd be like 20 million people trying to get it.
I know. And meanwhile, which is crazy, I've told you guys from a while ago, I pay like $100 in subscriptions. I have everything.
Yeesh.
Yeah, because HBO Max now is like $20. Disney Plus, which is combined with Hulu and ESPN, I have that, which is $21.99. So there's $40+ right there. Then I then I have Netflix. That's like $14.99. Or I might have the highest one. So round that up to $20. That's $60 right there. I have everything. And then all my family members just use my logins. So
Make
I
that
told them,
make that passive income stream.
that is right. I should be charging them.
I know that, right? Everybody need to be chipping in.
Yeah, I should be charging them. I don't. Let me get my dog.
So people know that we're softy, and so, oh, they're not gonna charge me. They're not gonna do this. And it's cool that we help people. They should want to kick in. They know
Wow.
cable is like $200.
Yeah. This guy,
Yeah.
stop it. This guy, Brandon, wait, he plays in the Mummy movies. I used to love those movies too. So, Brandon Fraser. Oh, he looks different now. Jeez.
Oh yeah, it looks bad.
He look older or something?
He's gained weight and he's balding.
Well, is he getting older?
But he plays in all of the Mummy trilogy movies, like where they go to Egypt and they open up they do release the curses and all that stuff.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this movie made $244 million.
Wow.
And is this the one with The Rock in here? Yep, I said Dwayne Johnson. Yep. So the part 2 is Journey to the Mysterious Island, where I think in this one they went through like some type of time glitch. Like I think they were either in the ocean. They were either in the ocean and they went through like a Bermuda Triangle situation, or they were in a plane and they got to this place where they couldn't was it through a tornado? These were good though. I didn't know what they meant back, and I'm actually gonna watch these when we get off the call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the guy also talked about the place that's underneath the Bermuda Triangle too. So when y'all listen to this for your homework, take plenty of notes. The link that I sent y'all. All right, let's get ready to wrap it up. What's the second part? You said the first part is Journey to Center of the Earth, and then what's part two?
In the South Pacific. So part 2 was they did it through the ocean. Part 2 is Journey to the Mysterious Island.
Okay, let me see the mysterious. Uh-oh. Why does that remind me of that island? The one that we talked about. That remember the island that you have to get through to get to the. Remember the one that has the satire, all that stuff. Y'all remember us talking about that island? The one
Was
that
that
has the vulture is highly. Remember, is to get to the in order to get to the not the secret place,
How
but
is it the highway?
the
The
highway of
highway?
holiness. The one to get to the highway of holiness. Remember, there's the island that you have to go through. The one that's fortified. And it has the satire. It has vultures. It's got. It's where the den of the dragons is. Y'all don't remember that?
I do remember.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of that. So I'm curious to see to see. But wow. Okay. Well, what's the homework assignment? Let's see if y'all remember what the homework is. And get ready to wrap it up for today.
Watch the videos and the link that you posted in the chat.